Incredible reveal, Black CEO discovers hidden talent, transforms lives after VIP seat incident. Marcus loved his son, Jamal, more than anything. Every hour spent at the auto repair shop was in service of building a brighter future for him. As a hardworking 30-something African-American man in Detroit, he often found himself wrestling with the weight of his family's dreams, his father's sweat from the factory and his mother's dedication as a school teacher echoed in his ears. But every day felt like a new battle against the relentless grip of economic inequality. His neighbors struggled too, each one with their own stories of hard work and dashed hopes, and it weighed heavy on his heart. One fateful evening, while plodding through another weary night, Marcus received an invitation to a corporate gala. He felt a rush of excitement tinged with disbelief. This was a world far removed from his daily grind, a space where stars shone above in a lavish city that could only feign a future of promise. At the gala, a slip of fate placed him at a VIP table. A moment of vibrancy turned chaotic when he accidentally spilled a drink on Angela, the renowned CEO. The air thickened with tension as their eyes locked, shock mingled with an odd curiosity. "Sorry. I didn't mean to," Marcus stammered, embarrassment creeping up his neck. Angela's expression shifted from anger to intrigue. In that split second of chaos, the rest of the crowd faded away, as did his years of toil behind the greasy auto shop counter. The spotlight felt blinding, yet exhilarating. "Wait," Angela said, a calculating smile forming. "You've got something. I can see it." Those words sparked a glimmer of adventure in Marcus's heart. Could this be a chance to weave a new destiny, not just for himself, but for Jamal? The struggle between loyalty to his roots and the allure of opportunity danced within him, but as they began to talk, that glimmer began to wane under the weight of doubt. Marcus confronted Angela about the corporate world's disconnection from those like him. She argued that her intentions to uplift the community were genuine, but societal prejudices hung heavy in the air, making him uncertain of her mingling with the likes of him. One evening, Amanda broached their pasts, and Marcus unveiled the hurtful truths that labeled him as the underdog. He let tears spill, revealing the scars of prejudice he masked beneath his resilience. "This city, it's full of dreams that feel like they're just out of reach," he confessed. Their discussion was a revealing moment that exposed layers of vulnerability within him, and for the first time, he did not hold back. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. All roads led to a community event they planned together, bursting with energy and promise. It was to highlight local talent, a celebration meant to uplift, inspire, and unite. But as the day approached, a shadow of doubt crept in. Would the corporate world accept someone from the depths of their community? Her hesitation almost echoed the fears that had haunted Marcus for years. Finally, moments before the event kicked off, Angela prepared to announce a groundbreaking initiative, one that would elevate Marcus and his community into the spotlight. Standing on the edge of transformation, he felt the love of his family and friends enveloping him. But right then, chaos erupted around them. A flood of doubts and whispered fears from the audience thrummed in the air, holding everyone in suspended anticipation. Would Marcus take the leap, and could Angela face the tides of public scrutiny? As the crowd's whispers swelled, the room bristled with anticipation, leaving an electric question hanging: could they rise above all expectations together? The spotlight snapped on, illuminating Marcus's face, and for a heartbeat, the world fell silent. Every eye in the room seemed to pierce through him, dissecting the layers of doubt that clung to his spirit. Suddenly, those millions of whispered fears began to drown out the supportive shouts of his neighbors, his family mingling among the crowd, so close and yet so far. He could feel the weight of every stereotype, every judgment, pressing down heavier than the weight of the tools he carried every day at the shop. Angela stood beside him, her presence striking. She was a beacon of hope, dressed in her immaculate suit, a symbol of the heights Marcus had long believed were unreachable. "This is our moment," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the low hum of uncertainty. "What if they don't believe in me?" Marcus's voice quavered, fear gripping him tightly. He never imagined being on this stage, yet here he was, standing on the brink of something transformative. His eyes darted toward the crowd, catching glimpses of familiar faces: Jamal, his little boy, wide-eyed and full of innocence, his mother, a sturdy pillar of faith despite the storms they weathered, his neighbors, each one a reminder of the grit and determination that colored their lives. Would he disappoint them? Would he let them down by stepping too far into another world? Angela's gaze softened as if she could read the turmoil roiling within him. "You don't have to do this alone," she said, taking a step closer. "We're stronger when we work together. The community needs to see someone like you succeed. This is bigger than you, this is for everyone." For a moment, the memories flooded back, nights spent in dim light, refining the trade his father had taught him, the laughter and the dreams shared over family dinners. They were counting on him, and that thought ignited a spark of courage in Marcus's chest. He took a deep breath, steadying himself against the tide of fear that threatened to pull him under. "I trust you," he replied, finally meeting her gaze. That trust was the thin rope that bound them. It signified hope not just for him, but for those around him. He could feel the invisible threads connecting him to his community tighten, urging him forward. With a nod that belied his familiarity with fear, he stepped into the spotlight, his heart pounding in his chest like a drumbeat calling to the masses. The murmurs faded into a hush, and he opened his mouth, ready to voice the story that needed to be told, the one that represented countless others, silenced for too long. "Good evening, everyone," he began, his voice rising above the crowd. His words cascaded out, raw and true, laced with the roots of his struggle and the dreams that dared to blossom despite the odds stacked against them. He spoke of resilience, of dreams intertwined with despair, and of the unbreakable spirit of his community. As the applause began, tentative, unsure, but growing with each bite of his story, Marcus could feel something shift. He was no longer just a worker at the garage. He was a voice for those who felt unheard, a symbol of possibility paved with sweat and determination. But just then, a voice from the back cut through the applause. "He's just playing the sympathy card." The heckler shouted, laughter following like shadows trailing in the night. The positive energy in the room shifted, replaced with uncertainty and murmurs of doubt. Marcus paused, the air thickening once more as he faced the realization that not everyone was ready to celebrate the change they were striving for. Would he stand strong in the face of such challenges? Would he allow this moment to shatter the fragile hope he built? The stakes were rising, and with them, a pressing question loomed over Marcus like a dark cloud ready to burst. Could his voice, once so fragile, become a rallying cry against those very shadows? The laughter reverberated off the walls, a searing reminder that not all ears would hear his truth. Marcus felt a knot twist tighter in his stomach. He took a step back, his pulse racing like a wild drum in his ears. The applause had faded, swallowed up by the sneering words from that one voice. It felt like stepping onto a battlefield where the enemy wasn't visible but deeply felt. Why do people always have to pull others down? He thought, fighting the urge to retreat. He glanced at Angela, whose expression had hardened. It was a flicker of anger, maybe even disbelief, but there was something else in her eyes: determination. "Just do it," she seemed to say without words, challenging him to reclaim the moment. "Every single one of us has a story." He took another deep breath, grounding himself as he looked into the crowd. He searched for familiar faces: his mom who had sacrificed so much, Jamal's innocent eyes full of encouragement, and the neighbors who had stood by him, lifting him with their small victories. Marcus felt their unwavering support like a lifeline. He couldn't turn back now. "They say I'm playing the sympathy card," he addressed the room again, his voice steadied with newfound strength. "But I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here because every one of us has fought battles they can't see, right? We wear our scars like badges, don't we?" The crowd shifted slightly, the whispers slowing as some heads nodded in acknowledgement. He sensed the collective breath they took with him. I grew up in this community, he continued, recalling the moments that had shaped him. I didn't inherit a fortune or land. I inherited dreams bound by struggle. I'm a product of this city and this neighborhood, a neighborhood that has seen too many closed doors. A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the audience, embers of hope beginning to spark again. You see, our stories are intertwined. When one of us rises, we all rise. So, if my story resonates with you, then let us lift each other up. I'm here to stand with you, to believe in the dreams that lie buried beneath our realities. His heart raced as he felt the warmth of their responses start to wrap around him, filling the empty spaces left by doubt. For a moment, the heckler's voice faded, replaced by a wave of shared experiences, struggles, and aspirations. Suddenly, Jamal stood on a chair, waving his little arms. "Go, Daddy!" He cheered, his clear and innocent voice breaking through the tentativeness in the air. Laughter and applause erupted from the crowd. Marcus smiled, his heart swelling at the sight of his son. "Thank you, buddy. This is for us." The laughter buzzed like an electric current, igniting the crowd once more. Marcus seized the energy, driving his words deeper. "This isn't just about me. Unearthing dreams means nurturing them together. We need to uplift each other." With every phrase, he could feel the room swell, pushing against the shadows lurking at the edges. The heckler's voice had lost its power, drowned beneath rising shouts of agreement and encouragement. As the applause washed over him, Marcus let the weight roll off his shoulders. But deep down, he realized the challenge was far from over. While one obstacle had been overcome, many more awaited their confrontation. "Can we create our own narrative?" he asked, breathless and invigorated. "Can we pave a way for those who come after us?" In that moment, he felt the unshakable promise of hope in the air, though uncertainty lingered like a gentle breeze. Marcus had taken a stand, but what would be the next step in this fight against doubt and fear? Would he rally his community to push past others' expectations, or would he find himself confronting yet another unexpected challenge? The energy in the room crackled as Marcus soaked in the wave of support surging toward him. He could see heads nodding in agreement, faces softening, expressions transforming from skepticism to something brighter. It felt good, like standing on a cliff with the wind behind him, urging him onward. Yet, beneath the surface, anxious thoughts tangled. Do they really believe in this? He wondered, glancing back to Angela, who now stood poised on the edge of her chair, her eyes shining with pride. He felt a flicker of hope igniting in his chest, but doubt still wormed their way in, whispering, "What if they don't?" Taking a deep breath, he pushed himself to continue. "We are more than our circumstances. We are dreams waiting to be unleashed." His voice rang with the intensity of his passion, coaxing the audience toward him like moths drawn to a flame. Jamal, still perched on his chair, clapped enthusiastically, urging the crowd to join in. The laughter that followed reminded Marcus of fireworks bursting through the dark, a beautiful riot of light and joy. But it wasn't just about the laughter. Beneath the surface, he felt a palpable shift. The room was changing. "Let us turn our struggles into fuel," he cried, his heart racing as he locked eyes with a young woman sitting toward the back. Her brow was furrowed with worry, but as he spoke, she straightened and whispered something to her neighbor. Within moments, she stood up, and her hands shot into the air, signaling solidarity. A ripple of murmurs echoed throughout the crowd, and with shaking voices, others began to join her. "Yes!" they called, fists in the air, an unexpected chorus of life and spirit. Marcus could hardly contain his own excitement. "Together, we can create pathways for our youth, for everyone who feels trapped, unseen. And that begins now." Suddenly, Angela stepped down from her perch and walked toward him with purpose. There was urgency in her step, something electrifying that drew the eyes of everyone in the room. She reached out and took his hand, squeezing it as she turned to the crowd. "You all heard him. We can't just talk, we need to act. Who else with us?" The room exploded with enthusiasm and cheers. The energy reached fever pitch, and Marcus felt it wrap around him, wrapping up Jamal, too, who now jumped down from his chair and raced over. "Can we start a club, Daddy? A club to help everyone?" Tears risked spilling over as Marcus knelt to his boy's level, the intensity of the moment weighing heavy in the air. "Yes, buddy, we absolutely can. A club for everyone." Jamal beamed, his joy contagious, and the crowd seemed to swell with pride, solidarity blooming where uncertainty had once lingered. Now was the turning point, and Marcus knew he had to keep the momentum rolling before reality crashed back in. "Let us meet tomorrow," he proposed, heart pounding. "Let us organize. Bring your ideas, your dreams. Let us write our next chapter together." The uproar lifted the room, voices rising as people started shouting suggestions, excitement brewing like storm clouds ready to burst. But amid the joy, a shadow flickered at the back of Marcus's mind. He needed a plan. He needed guidance. Tomorrow is just the beginning, he thought, his mind racing, the adrenaline still coursing through him. The weight of their expectations was palpable, and he cared deeply about living up to it. The idea was there, but who could help him turn it into something real? As Marcus looked around, he noticed a familiar figure, a mentor, someone who had seen the ups and downs of their community. Would they be able to help him navigate this newfound passion? With a slight tremor of uncertainty, he posed the question that hung in the air. Who do we know that can guide us? Little did he know, that answer would unlock a door to a greater revelation than he ever imagined. The hall buzzed with excitement the next day, a palpable energy electrifying the air. Marcus glanced around, taking in the faces of his neighbors, all drawn together by something he had only dared to dream of a few days ago. Hope hung like a banner over the room, and with every passing second, he felt an irresistible pull toward action. Jamal was bouncing on his toes, eyes wide with anticipation. "Daddy, when do we start?" he asked, his eagerness echoing through the space. Marcus couldn't help but smile down at his son, whose innocence sparkled like the sun breaking through clouds. "Right now, buddy," he exclaimed, rallying the crowd. "Let us talk about what we want to create." Voices rose and fell like waves crashing against the shore. People shared ideas, aspirations emerging from each corner of the room. Someone suggested a mentorship program, another offered to host community events. Marcus felt tears prick his eyes again. This was their moment, their chance to build something meaningful. Yet, in the whirlwind of creativity, a whisper of uncertainty nagged at him. They needed direction, coordination. As if sensing his unease, Jamal looked up and asked, "Are you okay, Daddy?" Marcus knelt to his son's level, heart swelling. "I'm great, champ. Just thinking of how we can make this better." That's when he saw the familiar figure from yesterday, Raymond, a respected local businessman and longtime mentor to Marcus. Raymond had weathered many storms in the community and had always been a guiding light. With a determined pulse in his heart, Marcus approached him. "Raymond." Raymond's warm smile met him. "Hey, Marcus. I heard the buzz around town. Looks like you've got quite a movement going here. Can you help us?" The question slipped out, raw and honest. His heart pounded as he watched Raymond consider it. After what felt like an eternity, Raymond nodded slowly, eyes gleaming with understanding. "I would love to." Behind him, Angela stood listening, a glow of pride washing over her features. In that moment, Marcus knew they had just opened a door wide enough for all their dreams to march through. "All right, let us get to work," he called out to everyone around, feeling their energy lift him higher. As discussions sprawled over tables, every voice added weight to their shared vision. It was chaotic but beautiful, like a symphony getting its first notes. He saw ideas about scholarships for local kids, community gardens to foster growth, even art programs to channel creativity. Everywhere he turned, there was purpose. But a familiar undercurrent of doubt still churned in Marcus's mind. What if they failed? What if the community depended on them? Shaking his head, he swallowed hard, focusing instead on the faces filled with hope. He thought of Jamal, of all the children looking for a way out of the shadows, and vowed to keep pushing forward. Suddenly, a young woman stepped up, one who had been shyly observing from the back. She cleared her throat, voice trembling but resolved. "Can I share an idea?" Marcus nodded, and the floor opened up to her. "I've always wanted a safe space, a place where we can express ourselves without fear. Art can heal, and kids in our neighborhood need places to explore that." The room fell silent, her words printed themselves in the hearts of those present. Marcus could see the spark ignite in the others, ideas bubbling up around the room like a summer storm. "Yes!" someone shouted. "That's it. We need a center." As the crowd erupted in agreement, each person's eyes shone with a blend of hope and fear, thrilling with the excitement of possibility. They were stepping into uncharted territory, but this was their adventure, and no one could take it away from them. Could they really do this? Could this small community in the heart of the city transform hopelessness into potential? Marcus felt a surge of determination pumping through his veins as he turned to Jamal. "This is just the start, buddy. Imagine what we can achieve together." But before he could catch his breath, a voice from behind him called out, "What's stopping us from making this happen like today?" The question ignited a chain reaction of ideas and aspirations, bolstering Marcus's spirits. Yet, as their passion surged forward, an unfamiliar doubt began lurking in the shadows. Could they sustain this energy? With anticipation thick in the air, they all leaned closer, ready to turn dreams into reality. What drastic steps would they take next? And how much would they be willing to sacrifice to make sure their newfound hope turned into lasting change? As the excitement in the hall bubbled over, Marcus felt the weight of the moment pressing in. This was a pivotal turning point, not just for him, but for everyone in this room, and he wanted to grab onto it tightly. "Okay, everyone. Let's brainstorm how we can bring this center to life," he called, his voice slicing through the noise. A dozen hands shot up at once, each person eager to contribute. Ideas flew around like confetti. Who could manage the building? What resources could they tap into? How could they connect with local artists willing to collaborate? Amidst the fervor, Marcus noticed Angela moving toward the front. Her face was determined, a fire ignited in her eyes. "People need to know our stories. If we share our experiences, it can rally more support." Marcus nodded, the gears turning in his mind. "Yes. We can host community storytelling nights, get everyone involved. Let us show everyone what we're fighting for, the beauty and resilience of our neighborhood." The enthusiasm in the room intensified, voices growing louder, overlapping, and Marcus admired how they fed off one another. But beneath it all, the gnawing seed of doubt still lingered in his chest. How would they finance this venture? Where would they find a suitable space? And what if the passion fizzled out before they could really make an impact? "Can I suggest something?" A timid voice spoke up, breaking through his thoughts. It was the young woman from earlier, her hands clasped nervously in front of her. "Maybe we can launch a crowdfunding campaign. Engage more people online. It'll not only raise funds but raise awareness too." "Brilliant!" Marcus exclaimed, rejuvenated by her idea. "A community-led campaign to fuel community change. We can use social media to share our journey. Show the struggles but highlight the hope." With new energy, they fleshed out a plan. Marcus was amazed how quickly everything came together. Who would lead the social media efforts? Who could design the campaign materials? People began volunteering their skills to help transform the dream into something tangible. Yet deep inside, he wrestled with an unsettling thought. What if they didn't reach their goals? The burden of doubt shadowed him like a storm cloud, threatening to rain on their parade. In that moment, Jamal tugged on his sleeve, looking up with wide eyes. "Daddy, what's wrong?" "Just thinking about how we'll do all this," Marcus replied, forcing a smile. Jamal pointed to the crowd. "They believe we can do it. That means we can." Touched by his son's unwavering belief, Marcus took a breath, feeling the warmth from the collective hope around him. "All right, let us do this," he shouted, and the room erupted into applause and cheers. They were united in purpose, wildly ambitious, yet incredibly hopeful. But the back of his mind couldn't shake a lingering thought. Something big was coming. Just as they were wrapping up their planning session, a man stepped into the hall. His presence was commanding, and the energy shifted as everyone turned to face him. Marcus squinted, trying to place the familiar features. "Excuse me, everyone. I am Malik Johnson, and I've just returned to the neighborhood after years away." The room fell silent at the mention of his name. The whispers began to swirl like wildfire. Balanced on the edge of anticipation and curiosity, Marcus leaned in closer. Without missing a beat, Malik continued, "I've been following the buzz about your initiative, and I think I can help in ways you cannot imagine." A collective gasp surged through the audience. What could Malik, with his resources and connections, bring to their fledgling dream? As excitement soared, a new question loomed larger than ever in Marcus's mind: were they prepared for what this might mean? The opportunity could lead to greatness, but could they handle the weight of it? The silence that followed Malik's entrance felt heavy with anticipation. Marcus's heart raced, darting between hope and caution. He glanced around the room. Faces were lit with curiosity, whispers fluttered like moths to a flame. "Let us hear him out," Marcus said, trying to steady his own heartbeat. It sounded more confident than he felt. Malik stepped forward, his demeanor calm yet electric. "I've been away for a long time, but this neighborhood holds a piece of my heart," he began, his voice steady. "I'm here because I believe in second chances. And I see that same spirit in all of you." He walked closer to the center of the room, eyes shining with sincerity. "I can connect you with investors, mentors, and artists. I have contacts who want to support community initiatives like yours. But I need to know, are you all in? Are you ready to put in the work needed to make this a reality?" "Absolutely," Angela shouted, her passion sparking a ripple of agreement among the crowd. "Wait," Marcus interjected, feeling a surge of protectiveness. "This sounds incredible, Malik, but we need to be clear about our vision. We cannot lose the essence of our community in pursuit of funding." Malik nodded, appreciation in his eyes. "I respect that. This needs to be your creation. I'm here to help guide you, not to take over." The room buzzed with excitement, a symphony of aspirations merging into one. Marcus felt his doubt briefly fall away, replaced by a burgeoning sense of possibility. But underneath it all, a flicker of unease remained. The stakes were higher now, and so were the expectations. As they went around the room, discussing Malik's proposition, Marcus found himself absorbed in the ideas flowing forth. A workshop on entrepreneurship here, an art exhibition there, a neighborhood festival to showcase local talent. Each concept painted a brighter picture than the last, yet, as ideas took flight, so too did the murmurs of ambition. What if we create something groundbreaking? Imagine the spotlight on our community. This could change everything. But somewhere in that excitement, Marcus couldn't shake the thought: what if they reached for too much too soon? "I think we need to ensure we're grounded," he said, raising his hand to catch their attention. "We have dreams, but we also have realities to face. Let's be strategic." Malik raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you suggest?" "Let us start small," Marcus replied, swallowing hard. "Let us test our ideas within our own community first before reaching out beyond. Allow the center to grow organically." A moment of silence loomed in the air as people pondered his words. Jamal, still hovering nearby, whispered, "Can we dream big but stay real at the same time, Daddy?" Marcus knelt to his son's level. "That's the challenge we all face, buddy. It's balancing what we want with what we can achieve." Angela, eyes bright with inspiration, broke through, "I think we can do both. Let us create pilot programs, engage our community first, then share our successes widely." Together, we can find that balance. One by one, heads nodded in agreement. The dream felt alive again, building momentum. Malik smiled, impressed with their resolve. As the meeting wound down, Marcus felt exhilaration tangle with his apprehension. They were on the brink of something incredible. But what if they stumbled? What if the support they needed was suddenly out of reach? Little did he know, the very challenges that lay ahead would not only test their resolve but redefine who they were as a community. And then the lights flickered. A subtle but urgent buzz surged through the crowd. Someone rushed in, eyes wide with urgency. "You need to see this, now." Marcus's stomach dropped. What could this mean for their hopes? Or was it an unexpected twist in their journey? The tension in the room thickened as the newcomer rushed in, almost stumbling over his own words. Marcus's heart thudded heavily in his chest. "What is it?" he demanded, eyes flicking between the stranger and Malik. The room had abruptly shifted from hope to anxiety, the earlier energy evaporating like mist in the sunlight. "There's a video," the man managed to say, pulling out his phone as the murmurs began again, a discordant backdrop to his urgent tone. "You all need to see this, the impact Malik's been having with the youth across town. He paused, glancing around nervously, "it's a game changer." Several people leaned forward, eager yet cautious. Malik's expression had shifted, he looked both hopeful and wary. "What kind of impact?" he inquired, trying to maintain the calm that had initially united the group. The man tapped his phone, swiftly bringing up a video. As he projected it onto the wall, gasps rippled through the crowd. Images flashed on the screen: youths painting vibrant murals, kids learning coding, a space filled with laughter, creativity bursting forth in every frame. The facility shown was nothing like the dilapidated center they were trying to revitalize. This was a transformation fueled by collaboration. Their SA program in the West Side, he explained, eyes flickering with excitement. They've only been running for a year, and their success stories can be ours. Absolutely vital lessons on community empowerment, real change. The screen transitioned to testimonials, kids speaking directly to the camera, their eyes bright, telling stories of how these programs saved them. Marcus felt his own emotions rise, joy mixed with disbelief. Could they do something like that here? Malik exchanged glances with Marcus, a silent understanding passing between them. "We can start the process here," Malik said, voice low but filled with conviction. "We can take what they're doing and tailor it to our people. We don't need to recreate the wheel, we can ride the momentum of this inspiration to craft our own journey." The energy in the room shifted. Hope ignited once more. "We can really do this," cried Angela, her hands clapping together. "We can invite mentors, build programs around what those kids said. We have to, for our community." But Marcus felt the weight settle in his gut again. "But is it replicable?" he asked. "Every community is different. What if we can't capture that essence? What if the kids here don't respond the way they did there?" "Then we adapt," Malik replied firmly. "We listen and learn, just as they did. Let us start with workshops to see what resonates with our kids. We can begin with whatever they're passionate about. Think of it as planting seeds. Some may bloom, and others may not, but we have to try." The room buzzed with whispers of excitement once more. Marcus felt torn, the idea thrilled him, yet doubt lingered in the back of his mind. What if they failed? Would they shatter the little hope they had built? "Let us not lose sight of why we're here," he chimed in, steeling himself as he faced the crowd. "This isn't just about launching programs. It's about fostering a sense of belonging and pride. It's about changing lives. We have to put our heart into this." Jamal, with wide eyes reflecting a childlike excitement, chimed in, "Can we paint cool things like on the screen? And code too, like the kids?" One voice piped up. "Yes." Marcus grinned despite his worries. "All of it. But we start small. We find our community's heartbeat first." Gradually, the chatter grew louder, fueled by visions of murals and tech labs. As the energy surged back, Marcus felt an unexpected wave of solidarity swim through him. Yet, a smidge of doubt continued to linger, a whisper in his head reminding him of the stakes. Malik, sensing this, placed a reassuring hand on Marcus's shoulder. "I believe in your vision, Marcus. Let us give them a chance, and we'll adapt together." Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered again, and the sound of footsteps echoed outside. Tension crackled in the air once more. The door swung open, and another figure emerged, a tall woman with a commanding presence. "I heard you're looking for support in revamping community initiatives." Eyes shifted toward her. What support could she offer? But more importantly, would she change everything they've just started to believe in? The room fell into a hush, the newcomer's authoritative voice cutting through the rising tide of chatter. Marcus felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension building within him. Everyone turned to face the woman, and he could see their excitement mingled with caution. "Who are you?" Angela asked, her tone both curious and a bit defensive. The woman smiled, a gleaming confidence in her eyes. "My name is Ava Clark," she said. "I run a nonprofit focused on youth empowerment and community development. I've been following the work Malik has been doing here. It's impressive." Marcus's heart raced. This could be what they needed. But he couldn't ignore the nagging skepticism creeping back in. "And how did you hear about us?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Let's just say I have my ears to the ground. The youth on the west side have been talking about Malik's impact." Ava paused, her gaze sweeping the room. She recognized the spirit of determination, the raw potential for change. "I want to help. The resources and connection I can bring could transform your dreams into reality." A ripple of hope spread throughout the group, but Marcus wrestled with his doubts. "What makes you think you can help us?" he pressed. "This community is different. We all come from our own struggles and experiences. What if your solutions don't fit?" Ava nodded, acknowledging his fears. "That's a fair question. But I know communities. I've seen what works and what doesn't. You have the heart, the passion to change lives. You just need support to take it beyond vision. We'll tailor everything to your needs. It's about collaboration." Her words felt like a promise. The group buzzed with fresh energy, the flickers of hope igniting once more. Marcus exchanged glances with Malik, wondering if this was the turning point they had been searching for. Ava continued, "We won't shy away from the hard work. We'll invite mentors, create workshops tailored to local interests, and build partnerships that stay grounded in your community's heart." Jamal piped up, excitement dancing in his eyes. "So, we can really get the kids involved in stuff they love? Like art and technology?" "Absolutely." Ava responded, her enthusiasm infectious. "Let us explore what fires them up. Imagine murals that tell your story, coding classes that unlock new careers. This can be as big as your dreams allow." Marcus felt the weight of uncertainty lift slightly. Yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into unfamiliar waters. "And what will you expect from us in return?" Ava's expression softened. "I expect your commitment. This isn't a one-sided deal, it requires all hands on deck. We'll need your insights, your voices, and your reflections on what works for your community. Together, we'll unlock potential that's been hiding in plain sight." The room buzzed with murmurs of agreement. There was a current of excitement flowing through them, but Marcus still hesitated. "What if we fail?" he whispered, barely audible among the nodding heads. Ava seemed to sense his fears. "Failure is part of the process. But when we fail, we learn. We adapt. And we grow together. That's the true essence of community strength." As he watched Malik engage with Ava, sharing ideas and visions, Marcus realized he wasn't alone in his apprehensions. They were all stepping into the unknown together. The prospect excited him, and yet, doubt lingered in his mind. Before he could voice his concerns any further, Ava looked directly at him. "Let us take the leap together, Marcus. We can build something special here. Something that can change lives." He wanted to trust her words. But somewhere deep inside, a fear gnawed at him. What if this was just another empty promise? Just then, the room's overhead lights flickered, dimming briefly before returning to full brightness. A subtle shiver of unease whispered through him. Would this moment of hope lead to genuine change, or would it crumble like so many others before? "All right," he finally breathed, fueled by a mix of apprehension and determination. "Let us see what we can create." Ava's smile widened, the promise of possibility shimmering in her eyes, but just as quickly, the heavy sound of footsteps echoed outside the door once more. Who else could be arriving? Malik asked, narrowing his eyes toward the entrance. Marcus held his breath, wondering if this was just the beginning or if they were about to face another challenge that could upend everything they were trying to build. The room trembled with anticipation as the door swung wide. A collective gasp echoed softly as a young woman stepped forward, a local activist named Kiera. She was known for her passionate speeches and undeniable fire. "I heard there is a revolution brewing in our community," she announced, her voice unwavering, "and I'm here to light the spark." Marcus felt a shiver of hope cascading through the room. Kiera was a beacon of inspiration, her words a powerful magnet drawing in those who had felt lost for far too long. "We need this change," she declared, glancing around the room, her eyes dancing with passion. "But it's up to us to ensure it happens together." Marcus stepped forward, heart racing, realization dawning on him. "We've all faced challenges that felt insurmountable," he said, finding encouragement in Kiera's words. "But we have a chance to rise. If this is truly a revolution, then we must cement our roots in community." With everyone gathered, they exchanged ideas and dreams like seeds waiting to bloom. They longed for a hub of creativity, a cultural center where young and old alike could gather, a place to uplift, inspire, and break boundaries. The excitement reached a crescendo as hands shot up, dreams unfurling like flowers in the spring. "Art exhibitions highlighting our stories," shouted someone from the back. "And coding workshops to prepare our youth for the future." Another voice chimed in. Marcus felt alive, hope flowing like a river. Looking at Jamal, dancing with excitement, he realized they were not just dreaming, they were paving the way for the future. In that moment, the fears that had lingered within him began to dissipate. He saw not just the faces in the room, but the reflections of countless others who had fought and struggled. This wasn't just about him, this was for Jamal, for the community they cherished, and for every dream yet to be realized. As they debated logistics and resources, Ava and Malik engaged the crowd, facilitating the conversation and ensuring every voice was heard. The buzz in the room grew stronger, determination setting deep roots, and it was then that Marcus remembered the heart of their mission. He stood tall and proclaimed, "We're not just creating projects, we're igniting a movement. A movement grounded in our identities, a movement rooted in resilience." Applause erupted, laughter blossomed, and for the first time, the fear of judgment began to fade. The walls of doubt around him were crumbling, slowly replaced by laughter and a palpable sense of belonging. For every uncertain whisper, voices arose, louder in unity. "Yes. We believe. Together." Amidst it all, Jamal caught his father's gaze, shining like a star. "We're gonna make it, right, Daddy?" he asked, his pure innocence clinging to the air. "Absolutely," Marcus affirmed, his heart swelled with pride as he knelt beside his son. "This is our moment. Together, we're creating a legacy." With every heartbeat, the dream solidified, thoughts of fear replaced by a bright wave of exhilaration. "Tomorrow, we gather again here to discuss our first steps," Marcus said, igniting an infectious enthusiasm. "We'll reach out to the community, share their stories, and build a plan that reflects our hearts." The room was abuzz with energy as they sought clarity in their mission. Malik and Ava stood steadfastly beside Marcus, a tangible display of collaboration and unity. The shadows of the past no longer held sway, they were committed to rising as one community. As the meeting began to close, Kiara wrapped her arms around everyone present, a fervent gesture of unity. Let us remember this day. This is the day we turn dreams into reality. She charged them to take pictures and share their journey on social media, to be the change they wanted to see. Tears shimmered in some eyes, joy in others. This was it, they were no longer just individuals, they were an unbreakable collective. Taking a collective breath, they stepped toward the future, their hearts aligned, hopeful and emboldened. As the meeting came to a close, Marcus held Jamal close, knowing this journey wouldn't always be smooth, but it would be worth every step. They stood at the precipice of change, ready to leap forward, armed with resilience and love. I'm so proud of you, buddy, Marcus whispered in his son's ear, swiping away the tears of joy that had formed. We did it together, Daddy. Jamal beamed back. The world outside awaited, riddled with challenges, yes, but also bursting with opportunity and connection. They were ready to meet it all head-on. This was the moment they stepped into greatness, their community ready to shine brighter than ever. As they left the hall that night, hearts glowing and spirits high, Marcus realized they were no longer bound by expectations. They were weaving their own story, powerful and transformative, and that was only just the beginning. Right now, this is your moment to join this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire. Do it now, before you forget, to feed the algorithm by leaving a like. Share your thoughts in the comments. How did this ending resonate with you? Dive into this journey and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support, because this community thrives when we uplift each other. Don't wait not even one more second to share.